And hello everybody, good evening, welcome to Prospects eRacing League. This is round 10 of Tier 3 around the Abu Dhabi circuit today. I'm Solid Elite and I'm joined by Artistic, and we will hope to bring you a fantastic race in this brilliant tier.
Absolutely. It's been a great week so far for tiers 1 and 2 through PC and Xbox as well as PlayStation. So I'm sure with all the amazing drivers we have here today, we're going to keep that trend continuing.
Indeed they are, and a few drivers already preparing to start some flying laps. Just trying to see, I think it's actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's loose. No, it is. Someone's leading the way. It is T-Mouse in the Williams. He's leading the way so far. If you guys are just joining us, welcome to the stream. Looking forward to a nice, peaceful, hopefully quiet evening of, well, we say action-packed.
Not too quiet.
Not too quiet. We want some nice action to talk about. We don't want a boring race.
Well, last week we had a winner of show hosts, followed by Cavallis and LeBrownie was in third place here. So am I right here? I see here. Yeah. So today we're gonna see if we have a repeat of last week's performances, or we're gonna try to see if our championship leader can get closer to nailing this down. Right now we got Matty D leading the way at 126 points in the McLaren, followed by Sinister Crazy at 105 points in the Red Bull. We got Pulaski in the Aston Martin at 82. Owen at PLR Owen at 68 points in the Aston Martin as well. D-Hog at 65 points. Shahid, Lucifer Shahid with 56 points, followed by T-Mouse, who was last year's Tier 3 winner at 54 points, followed by Rageburger at 49 points. We've got LeBrownie at 48 points, followed by Caballas at 44. Showholtz at 40. Crew Steamers at 32. Monstar at 32. Gamesporman at 6. I need to come back to his name and pronounce that better. Kevo, my old teammate in Prospects, in our first season together, we were at Ferrari. He's got 4 points, and he's still in a Ferrari. Like Sezo, and with 2 points. Don Moore with 2 points. And our last three, I guess we got a few remaining drivers who haven't scored any points yet. We got Craigie, Webster, Forza, Jets Gaming, and Pandyman. And all of these people are absolutely very capable of winning any given race. I've raced with them all for several seasons, so don't count any of them out today.
And Shobits then takes the fastest lap away, followed by Matty D, who takes it by about 0.4 of a second. Spoof X has been disqualified. Not too sure what has happened.
What happened?
And let's just go to Owen, who is currently on in the final sector in the corner that definitely does give me nightmares. I am going to definitely call it that corner where Latifi lost a lot of money for a few drivers, and Owen goes P5.
Yeah, and he broke my heart. I tell you, we got to talk about this particular circuit. You know, I used to like it, especially after all the changes. It seems to be a lot more sweeping. It seems to be much more open, much racier, so you can really get some wheel-to-wheel action going. But I've got a bad taste in my mouth after Abu Dhabi 2021.
And Cavallis has hit the wall somewhere and has lost his front wing, which is not going to help his qualifying efforts. Looks like Mordstar is on a flying lap at the moment. For some reason, the telemetry is not appearing. So he is doing his usual tactic of a few banker laps. Oh, and someone's had a spin. Oh, I think that might be one of the Williams cars. I believe that's T-Mouse. Yeah, T-Mouse has had a spin on his in-lap, interestingly enough. So Mordstar, with his nice banker laps, puts in a 27.4.
Wait, hold on one quick second. I'm sorry.
It's alright. And looks like Kanja Kitty's on a far better lap than he was previously. Of course, a 40.9, not really representative around this circuit. And yes, as Artistic was saying, just the track is just a lot more open in places, and you feel like you can stick your nose in without 2 seconds later having nowhere to go. It feels a lot racier. It feels amazing to drive. As there's actually Matty D round in that first sector. Yeah, it's amazing to drive, and the racing is a lot better, and kind of Achilles purple in that middle sector. Certainly proving that this track is great to drive. He's going to come around that final corner now and goes P4 with a 24.7, a good lap time from the Alfa Romeo driver. F1 nerd invalidating his lap, unfortunately for him. A few drivers on an out lap. Let's see if anybody is currently on a bit of a flyer. Maud Star coming on an in lap. He finished a lap. Owen about a second down on an in lap. Carnage also on one of those in laps. Matty D on a in lap as well. So let's head on the drivers on an out lap. Just Kumi-san in the AlphaTauri put in some fantastic overtakes. If I remember correctly, last weekend he's about to start his flying lap in the AlphaTauri. He's going to pull to the right hand side to really open up turn 1, carry as much speed as possible through the apex whilst also keeping it within track limits. As there's someone actually crashed, it looks like, on the exit of the pits. I think that's a Williams. Let's see if we can figure out who that is. I think that's actually the... Oh no, Crew Streamers is out, so perhaps that was actually Crew Streamers that had a little incident.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Crew Streamers is one of our Tier 2 guys. He did some Tier 2 reserving yesterday. He didn't have his best race, so I'm hoping better for him today, even though he's not starting off great. Do not count Crew Streamers out. He's one of the original Prospect eRacing League members, and he knows how to race, so never count that man out. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes during the race.
Indeed, and just looking at the sector times of Kumi, as he's a 54.1, certainly not purple, but definitely looking pretty quick. That AlphaTauri beaming in the floodlights of the Abu Dhabi circuit. Of course, the beautiful architecture, the modern nature.
Beautiful.
Just really likes the cars, and especially with these 2022 cars, he goes a little wide though.
Stunning. Yeah, as an artist, I tell you, I get lost sometimes in the artistry of it all. I just find myself wanting to stop it.
Just a bit wide in the penultimate corner for just Kumi-san, and that has rather spoiled his efforts. It was looking like it would be a pretty solid lap.
Well, really, right now these guys are definitely on Tier 2 pace. As I said, we've got a bunch of Tier 2 reserves in here, and many of these people, like Lucifer Shahid and Crew Steamers and Kevo and PLRO, and these are all original members. So these guys have started off in Tier 1, and now we're looking at Tier 3, but we're also in PlayStation, Xbox, as well as PC. We've really expanded the whole platform. We've got men, we've got women. We're open to all, any and everyone who really just wants to enjoy the good company of other good people and do some nice, fast, clean racing, you know?
Plosky comes to line P4 with a 24.6, and it's worth saying that PBE Vintage has had a little crash in the early parts of, and that's about turn 3 in the S's sections. He's out with Crew Streamers, and Spoof with a strange DNF. Not too sure what happened to him.
We've lost 3 drivers so far, you know. But this is the kind of track, you know, it makes you feel comfortable. You feel as if you got so much room. You really want to go out there and try to nail some of these laps. And if those tires aren't, you know, optimal at the optimal heat at that point in time, it's easy to kind of go off hinge, you know.
And T-Mouse just proving that with his little spin in the final sector. He's round again. Is he going to touch the wall? Oh, that's a nice bit of car control
yes,
just to get that left rear in the wall instead of picking up some rear wing damage. That's very good. Oh, he's disqualified though for driving the wrong way. Oh, that's a catastrophic end to his session.
And it didn't look like he really did much. He busted a U-turn, and he did not really take a lot of space to do so. I'm sure he is absolutely upset. He's got to be fuming about that. We'll have to talk to him later on and see how he feels.
Yeah, perhaps that's something that happened to Spoof as well. Maybe that's what happened to him as well. But yeah, please continue.
Is that to me? You just sent me a link? Or
no. No.
Okay.
Just continue.
All right. Well, you know, but that just kind of shows that even T-Mouse having these kind of problems right now. This guy is a Tier 3 winner last year. So every particular racer, even though you could have won last season or you could be one of the top guys, you still have to each and every race be able to nail it, because with so many updates that you're doing in this game alone, by the time you get your bearings under what they've just recently did with your car, you almost have to change your style again and how you drive. It's just real tricky. Did we lose Vintage?
I think that's just sort of part of the early game cycle, but it's been particularly bad this year compared to previous years, which is, of course, not fantastic for a lot of the drivers, as
And I've
people...
noticed throughout. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
after you.
Well, I've noticed throughout this week that there's been a lot of different other leagues that are really not being able to populate their grid. And so far, this is the largest grid we've had to see this week. We've got 18 drivers out there, could be 20, but we've got 18. That's a pretty good showing. So that's showing that, at least in this tier, we got guys that are really still, guys and girls that are still willing to go out there and put it on the line. So it's going to be a fantastic race.
Indeed, Lisa Heed goes up to P7 with that lap time, and whilst we were talking, Showbits went up to P1 just 2.5 hundredths quicker than Matty D. So those two very, very close together. Just see if anybody else is on a flying lap then.
I think F1 there it is, maybe.
No, he is on an in-lap. Carnage Achilles is on a flying lap in the Alfa Romeo. He's getting a nice little slipstream from the McLaren of Matty D ahead. That's going to give him a few extra kilometres an hour. Perhaps that could really help him, but it could really hurt him in the braking zones if he does not compensate for that. And I think that might have been someone around. We did get some yellow flags.
That was F1 nerd who got into the top 10 there.
Yeah, Carnage Achilles really taking the shortest line across, and he's purple in that middle sector, so that slipstream definitely really helping him along. Kayama's actually has jumped Matty D as well. Oh no, I was looking at Kayama's time just talking about Matty D. Matty D is in P3, only just a few more than 25 ahead. So then Carnage Achilles go around the final corner. The final corner, quite a fun corner. You can go a lot deeper than you think. Carnage Achilles goes to the top of the timing sheets with a 24.1. Fantastic lap. That slipstream really helping there. So I think that maybe the track ramping up a bit, people getting a slipstream, certainly helping them along. And it looks like Owen also might be on a flying lap at the moment. Yes, he is. He was about 11 hundredths down in that first sector, should I add. He's got no slipstream in front, but should he get the braking right, he should gain a little bit more time. Yeah, he taps that first apex beautifully, kisses the second apex, but doesn't completely monster truck the curves and lose too much time, does the Aston Martin driver, as he heads down the second straight. The DRS zone of... He's purple in that middle sector actually, so the track perhaps ramping up just a bit. And the driver... Oh, round he goes though! He's round, he's done well to keep it out the barriers.
Yeah,
very close.
No doubt. Way to bust a nice little U-turn, and he even avoided the accident right there. Good job here, Owen. Well, the Aston Martin right now is really kicking a lot of butt. They're up by, almost 19 points over Red Bull in the Drivers' Championship and the Construction Championship so far. So.
Oh, someone else has just gone round. Just Kumi-san in the first sector has just hit the wall. He's done a quick spin. No visible damage on that AlphaTauri, but certainly some dirty tyres. He's really going to have to... Well, he's going to have to reset and come out for another lap. I think that was actually on his in-lap.
Yeah, he should have time to get in there and change it out too.
Yeah, indeed. I'm not sure. He's driving very slowly down the straight.
He's letting a couple other cars pass. He's got to let this McLaren go, and then he'll probably speed up.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers on their outlaps then for what will be probably their final attempt. F1 Nerd invalidating his lap time as well. So nobody on a flying lap so far. We're going to head up with Matty D, our championship leader, who just needs to find a 10th and then 2 thousandths or 3 thousandths to beat Carnage Achilles' time. So he definitely could find that on some new tyres on a slightly warmed up track.
He's without his teammate today, Matty D. Who's the other McLaren driver here? Because I know they're in... Oh, really? Wait a minute. Light Sezo is our other McLaren driver, and it looks like he's not here today, which is really amazing considering McLaren is third in the championships right now. And it looks like most of that is Matty D just putting the stinking smack down because he's leading the championship with 126 points. His teammates only got 2 points. but they are still at third in the championships. Matty D is a one-man team.
Indeed he is, and he's actually going to get quite the slipstream as there's now for, I think it's now for Tarry just coming out of the pit lane now. But yeah, I think Matty D is going to get quite the nice slipstream from, I believe it's Pololski ahead. It might be Owen, not too, I think it's definitely Pololski. And look at that, Matty D purple in the first sector. He's just got a further 10th to find, and look at the mighty slipstream he's going to get coming down this first straight. DRS active for the McLaren driver. His car Bass in the flood-lit circuit. He's going to be hard on the brakes, shifting down the gears ever so gently. Just kisses the apexes with such precision.
Super freaking cool. Make me move to Britain for a while. I'm gonna get one of them accents. An LA British accent. Wow, what would that sound like?
The Matty D then in the corner where we actually saw Owen just have a spin before he swings it right, hard on the brakes. Didn't look like he was purple in that middle sector, but he might have found a bit more time as through the final sector the McLaren driver comes. He's going to be facing a little bit of dirty air from the driver ahead. He's used all of his deploy already. Matty D rounds the final corner. It is provisional pole position, a 24.097, so by 100th of a second. Wow, it's going to be very close at the top. It looks like Showbits is also on a lap, another driver in contention. Well, actually, he's not on a lap, he's preparing for a lap. Another driver in contention for the pole position. It's pretty much Kayama's, Showbits, Achilles and Matty D in contention for this pole, as Showbits is going to begin his final flying lap attempt, and that was Matty D's last attempt. Showbits is going to be next. It looks like Carnage Achilles has just begun a lap as well, as it just went off from an outlap for him. So Showbits, what can he do through that first sector? He's almost a tenth, he's over a tenth and a half up. That's exactly what he needs to put it on provisional pole, and he's going to get quite the slipstream from the Alfa Romeo in front, who's himself getting a nice slipstream from the Haas ahead. So it's going to give him a bit more straight line advantage. He's going to be hard on the brakes. Again, he's just going to tap those apexes with such precision. And that's qualifying over Zippy and Just Kumi-san remain with their times that they've got at the moment. And looks like Matty D is round in that third sector. He's got going again. And he's got a 5th place grid penalty for a collision.
Oh boy, that hurts.
Oh, and there's a Haas. A Haas has crashed. That's Kavolis, who's crashed on the inside. So he is out of qualifying then. Showbits did not set the timing screens alight in that middle sector, but he might have just done enough to take provisional pole. We'll see when he does round that final corner in a couple of second times. Looks like it's really good.
Cameron hit the wall as well.
He's just a bit too far off. Carnage Achilles, his lap's over. Did he hit the wall?
Yep, Cambridge hit the wall coming around that final turn. That seems to be a slippery spot all this week long. All this week, that's been a slippery slope. But there's so many different setups. There's people that use full setups. There's people that use medium traction. There's people that use no traction control. Tier 3 is a wide variation of driving styles and setups. So it's always a really interesting hodgepodge race, you know. Great racing, but totally different styles. So one of the great things... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So then Matty D takes provisional pole as Carnage Achilles has got nothing to say about it. Showbits rounds out the top 3 then. But it looked like Matty D had a 5-place grid penalty.
Yeah, that's going to cost him. So he's going to drop down to 6th place, and that's going to move Carnage Achilles up, who was only just a 10th of a second down behind him. So they were right there.
Yeah, very close in terms of the top 4. And then only a couple tenths back to F1 Nerd and Owen, who themselves are very close together. In fact, it's only a second, that, just under us, about 9 tenths that separates the top 12, and quite a few drivers not finishing a lap then. P13 down.
About a third of the grid. About a third of the grid didn't make it. But you know what I think? Unlike places like Hungary and Monza, where you don't have the opportunity to do the wheel-to-wheel racing, you can look down here and people who DNF. Well, let me finish this. We got Matty D, Carnage Achilles, and Showhostess as their top three, followed by Kamers. F1 Nerd was one of the coolest names in F1 sim racing. PRL Owen, Rage Burger, my boy Lucifer Shaheed up in the house in 8th place. We got Pulaski and Nice, followed by Monstar in the 10th spot. We got XP, Just Kami-san in the 12th place, followed by Caballas, my ex-teammate Kevo. Kevo, you got to put it down up there, sir. Followed by Vintage. Crew Steamers, do not count Crew Steamers out. He did not have a great quality, but he's an excellent racer. He's one of those kind of guys. Ooh, I missed the last two. I'm sorry. I missed the last two, but I will look on my screen here who we got. Nope, I didn't get it there either. But what I was saying about Crew Steamers is he typically does not quality all act great, but his race pace is excellent, and he doesn't make any mistakes out there on the track. So just because people didn't make it to our bar of actual drivers who completed the grid or who didn't DNF, don't count them out. Don't count anybody out this race.
Yeah, there are a lot of drivers around that have just fantastic race pace and races. They just have like a natural talent for knowing when it's right to make moves, when it's right to box, and they're the people who get the points, as points are scored in the race at the end of the day.
And I'm looking inside of the chat, and I'm seeing people like Jonesy and Drunken Pirate and OG Quasar, just to name a few. It's really great to see people who are not even in the current tier. They could be going on with their lives, spending time with their families, doing other things, but they all come together to try to support each and every driver, each and every broadcast, each and every steward, in every particular tier. It's just really such a beautiful community.
Yeah, indeed, it's amazing when people, and we got the sunset in Abu Dhabi, and I'll let you take us away.
Absolutely
on the formation.
Beautiful. Oh man, yeah, but you know what? Like I said before, I just love to watch these cars coming through there. Oh, it looked like we didn't get who was that? Someone wasn't able to get off the grid there. Okay, everybody got going now, it seems. We had a couple drivers stuck. Let me come up to the front here. We've got Carnage Achilles is going to be our pole position driver here. He's going to be trying to get his tires warmed up, leaving plenty of room between him and the drivers behind him. Everyone is trying to make sure that they don't start off on cold tires. We got everyone starting off here. What kind of tires are we starting on the starters here? Carnage Achilles is starting off on the soft tires. He is our only soft tire driver. Everyone else is coming out on the mediums. And I think you're probably going to get about maybe, 9 to 10 laps on those softs. So he's going to probably have to be the first one to pit. And at that point, we're going to look to see who is going to be willing to stay out there just a little bit longer, who's going to try to do the undercut. It's going to be a lot of strategy taking place here to bring about our race leader today. It's going to be a really amazing race. I had that feeling.
Yeah, indeed. And safety cars, of course, are going to play a big part. Going on those softs early.
Don't say that.
Could really play into Carnage Achilles' hands, as if there is a little bit of an earlier safety car.
Please don't say Abu Dhabi and safety car, sir. I'm liable to start going into convulsions around here.
It's painful for me to say as well, but if there's one of those things that happens when people crash, Carnage Achilles might be in a really good position to benefit, as he's already on those softer tyres, so it's not really too consequential. If he has to go onto a softer tyre and has to run it longer and then possibly has to make a second stop, he'll be on the harder tyre and could run that all the way to the end.
And if I'm not mistaken, he's a Tier 4 driver who's coming up here with the big boys trying to be a reserve. And to be a reserve starting off on P1, get down, Carnage Achilles.
And look at how aggressive Shopitz is off the line. He's already looking like he's going to come across the
break it down for us.
Then. So the sunset in Abu Dhabi, basking the cars in beautiful red light, the panels glimmering as we now have 5 red lights. And away we go for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Quite a cool cone starters. Look at this. Carnage Achilles getting a poor start. Lots of wheel spin off the line. That's going to allow Showbits to head in. They all look fairly clean coming into turn 1. Looks like a couple drivers going wide there. Matty D is just behind Carnage Achilles, and look, that's Lucifer Shaheed round. Lucifer Shaheed round in.
Oh, T-Mouse has spin. Was that T-Mouse? No, I'm sorry, that was not T-Mouse. Who was that? Someone who had a spin back there. Lucifer Shaheed in the Williams.
Especially look at this into the hairpin then. I think they almost look like clouds of smoke from lockups then. From drivers getting past Team Mouse making a move. And look at this. Chaos down the main straight. Drivers everywhere. And Mordstar's up to P8 already. Carnage Achilles back up again against F1 Nerd. And looks like down the inside it's just Kumi-san. And oh, they get very close. A bit of contact from the Mercedes on the back of Team Mouse there. And it almost looked like the Ferrari also went into the Williams there. Looking up at the grid then, Crew Streamers is looking to make a move on the Ferrari of behind.
They just made a little contact. Him and XP just before that, and they're going well. Now we look like we have some contact right there between Caballas and XP. XP has spent out of the Ferrari. He's all the way down to 18th place. He had been moving up the grid pretty consistently. He had a little bit of contact with Crew Stevens 2 turns before that. And it looks like he may have got a little bit over aggressive. I'm not quite sure, but the stewards will certainly have a look.
F1 Nerd also having a bit of a spin there and moving down the order then. Showbits has already pulled about a second of gap on Kayamas, who has been unable to drop his teammate, of course. Carnage getting the poor start on the softs now. He's got all of 20... All round is Kayamas! Kayamas round already on those tyres, and so too is his teammate. Carnage Achilles round at literally the next corner. Awful for the Alfa Romeo team, both round and losing lots and lots of places. Mercedes having to dart to the inside to try and avoid them. Wow, what's happened there? Looks like Carnage is trying to go all the way around the outside. So 2 Alphas in one corner, and oh, very slow for Spook.
And after being hit, Kami looked like he was immediately passed by both Mercedes, got his bearings back under him, and swept back and passed both of those Mercedes back again. And now he's trying to chase down, he looks like he's having a will-to-will battle with his own teammate right there in Carnage Achilles.
Indeed, wow, that happened awfully fast. And look at Mordstar, who's already up and trying to get and got past Polowski, and Polowski is trying to fight back but didn't quite have the grip to do so. Fantastic move from Mordstar, who was up into P4. Good stuff from the Red Bull driver then. He's going to be trying to defend though, as the Aston Martin, as he's in a bit of an Aston Martin sandwich. Look at this, Crewstream is already up 9 places. As you said, the race is where points are made in P7 already for Crewstream after
with the fastest lap.
Indeed, and wow, that was an eventful lap for the Alfa Romeos. I'm sure they'll not be trying to replicate that next time around.
You have to say this is one of the raciest circuits on all of the calendar. I mean, because there's plenty of room. Sometimes you can go 3 deep. Oh, we have a spin out. Kevo, my old teammate, has wrecked the Ferrari, but he got some kind of way, got control over the car just enough, not only to get spent around, but to miss 4 cars that he almost had an extra collision with coming out of that spin. But he looks like he's going to have to come in and come up those mediums a little bit. Is he going to jump on the hard tires? But he's definitely going to have to come in. I don't believe he has a wing.
No, he has got no front wing. Kayamas and Carnage Achilles were doing battle, and Kayamas does take the gravy on top of those. But he goes a bit wee. Oh my goodness. Carnage Achilles, what is... He just went straight on at the corner. Not sure what he's trying to do. We're going to stay on board with him here, because that almost looked like he tried to take out his teammate. Let's see what he does. Wow, I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but he took a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. Perhaps he just... Well, I'm not really sure. It was all chaos broke loose. So Matty D, I think that was Matty D round. I think he did. He's losing positions. He's down to P10, the championship leader.
Oh, man,
a lot of drivers really finding it difficult to find the groove around this Abu Dhabi circuit. Mordstar has pulled about 8/10, so still not quite outside of DRS range of the second Aston Martin driven by Velocity. So expect a bit more action later on. It looks like Kivo and F1 Nerd. Well, actually, that's just because Kivo is into the pit lane to change his front wing then. So watch out.
Look at Crew Steamer just quietly cruise through there. We, unbeknownst, no one's paying any attention to him. We see in the top spots just jumble around and flip all over the place. As I watch this circuit, I wonder, are people having a problem really getting their hands onto the circuit here, or is it because it's so easy and so fun to race wheel to wheel that sometimes we get a little bit ahead of ourselves and can make some mistakes based off the fact that it's so racy, not that it's difficult. We can get overly confident.
Indeed, that's quite easy when the track is, well, you don't have to do too much in terms, of course this track is very technical, but not as technical as maybe a circuit like Hungary, where you'd really work on how you drive rounds as you've got all those tight corners, whereas here it's slightly more sweeping, and Polowski is really attacking as Mordstar takes the first 3-second penalty of the evening then.
Well, we do have a 5-second penalty on Carnage and a 3-second on Mostar, so those are our only 2 penalties so far, 5 laps in.
Yeah, indeed. So everyone pretty much behaving. Yeah. Track limits would be quite a problem here. Wow, look at Polowski weaving around, desperate to try and find a gap against the Red Bull in front of him. Mordstar just lacking just a bit of that extra pace that he needs. And look at Showbits, already 3 seconds up the road. Fantastic performance so far from him, as we've got someone else round. That's just Kumi-san in the first sector. He's going to drop down pretty much to the back of the grid then. Catastrophic for his race, as it looks like Polowski has got DRS on Mordstar then, and is going to try and attack the Red Bull driver. Mordstar pretty much creating an almost DRS train, as it looked like Berger pulled out of the slipstream, and further behind Kavolis and T-Mouse going wheel to wheel. T-Mouse taking the inside line that then becomes the outside. He's going to try and hold it all the way round. That's a fantastic move, as now he's going to get... Will he get the DRS? No, he won't. It'll be Kavolis that can now try and fight back, but enough ERS has been deployed by the Williams driver to get ahead and stay ahead of the Haas of Kavolis. Good move from T-Mouse to get the inside, to switch to the outside. Good move around that chicane then. Polowski, look how close he is to Mordstar. Just 2/10. He's got to try and find a way as soon as Mordstar goes wide in the corner that shall not be named. As Matty D getting past Kavolis as well now. Kavolis perhaps falling back a bit in this race. And Polowski's got past. Polowski has... Although Mordstar's going to try and fight back. He's not going to quite be able to, but he's going to get DRS coming down the next straight, although he might be under pressure from the Alpine. Although it looked like Berger went a little bit wide through the first part of the S's then, as Mordstar, is he going to think about a move there? He's not. He's going to use the DRS coming down the pit straight. He's got about double the almost double the ERS of the Aston Martin, as Mordstar already pulling to the inside and already ahead of the Aston Martin, who is now going to perhaps be under a bit of pressure from the Alpine behind. The Alpine unable to get close enough, as actually Crucium is really closed up to his teammate as well. Now DRS will be active for Polowski coming down the next straight. He's already going to pull to the inside. Mordstar pretty much got no defence. Is down inside, an easy move for Polowski. Hopefully he makes it stick this time, or Mordstar under a bit of pressure now. Oh, it looks like he's all round. You can see him start to go round. Unfortunate for Mordstar, he was driving so fantastically. He's going
beautifully. Oh my goodness! And you know, I didn't want to give him the commentator's curse, because there was some OGs in here like Equazar, who was saying Mandy is flying, and he was saying turn 2 has been sticky. And, you know, and throughout quality, but man, Jonesy and guys are in here just talking about how fast these guys are going, and as they're doing so, Cruise Steam is just quietly sliding up into 5th place, y'all, sneaking up on Berger.
And
keep it down. I don't want anyone to hear him coming.
Kanji Achilles also having another spin. He's really struggling on those softs and just has not had the best of races, has our pole sitter, and now Berger has been opened up a little bit by his teammate Crew Streamers, who is now within the DRS and perhaps going to be thinking about a little overtake in a couple of laps' time.
You know, we're having such smooth drives from both Showbiz and PLR Owen that we're not really mentioning these guys' names, but they're driving beautifully. Both of them are really trying to create a little distance between themselves, and a lot of just infighting here amongst the rest of the pack. But both of the Aston Martins, really, between Owen and Pulaski, where's the Aston Martin right now in the Construction Championship? Number 1. They have 156 points, followed by the Red Bull at 137, 128 for the Williams, 120. I'll take that back. 128 for the McLaren. I'm sorry.
Some contact there. between Berger and T-Mouse, just coming out of the long sweeping right-hander, and as Crewstream has got past, that opened up Berger to a bit of a move from T-Mouse. T-Mouse jumped at the opportunity and is up into P5 with Crewstreamers in P4. There was a Mercedes round in the first sector as Berger takes a 3-second penalty. Yeah, that was Spoof taking a little trip in the spin zone as T-Mouse is already on the back of Crewstreamers. T-Mouse has pretty much come from nowhere at the back of this train and is fighting for P4. He's very close. I'm sure that little bit of contact will be looked at after the session. Of course, Crewstreamers very similar to ERS, and look at this already. T-Mouse before the DRS zone. He's going to try go down the inside at the hairpin. He's going to force Crewstreamers a little bit wide. He looks like he's got a very nice exit. Has he got the all crucial DRS? Yes, he has. He's got the move done.
Yes.
And now the DRS. He's going to try and stay out of the slipstream, but this could allow Berger to get through back pass on his teammate.
Yes.
Indeed it is. Berger already ahead before they get into the braking zone. Matty D could also be within a big chance here of making up a couple of places. Indeed, as Crewstream has gone wide, Matty D has already got past a poor exit. A little bit of wheel spin perhaps on the exit then for Crewstream as he's dropped back massively. I'm just going to take a quick look at the tyres.
That's the first misstep that he's had so far this race. Crewstreamers has really had a consistent race, 8 laps in, but you know, we haven't lost a single driver, and we've only had 3 drivers with penalties so far, so it's been a very hard race, beautifully executed race so far.
Yeah, indeed, and actually Carnage Achilles pitting for the hard, so he's going to be trying to go to the end of the race. Kivo, who had to get a new front wing, also pitted for the hards as well. As look at that in the pits. That's Berger in the pits already on lap 9 on those medium tyres. Perhaps he might have a little bit of damage, perhaps. He might just have a little bit. We'll have to wait and see if he changes his front wing. No, he's just going to make an early pit stop onto the hards. He's going to be trying the undercut then on everybody else as T-Mouse is just outside that just inside that DRS of Matty D behind.
And he can absolutely get 20 laps out of those hard tires.
Yeah, indeed, especially around quite a low tyre wear. Well, actually, it's quite a high tyre wear circuit, Abu Dhabi. It's kind of difficult to tell. I haven't really done too much racing around here.
Oh, look for Shahid trying to make a move on the inside on the Red Bull and Monstar, but Monstar fights him off for a moment.
Monstar though did go quite deep. His exit is going to be very much compromised, and look at that, Lucifer Shahid already ahead of the Red Bull driver then. Not too much Monstar can do about that. Then as Lucifer Shahid in the Williams moves himself back up into P9.
You know, I remember a couple of years ago, I was talking to Shahid, and he said, hey, let's get a race going. And I said, all right, I'm going to run to the store. I'll be right back. And I came back, and my TV didn't work. I had to start racing on my phone for about 2 weeks until I bought another TV. Oh, I was sick. So it's good to see him back out there and know I'll be soon tearing the track in half since then.
Indeed, and look at Polosvi has been massively closed up on by T-Mouse and Matty D. T-Mouse looking like he's got some really good pace in this latter stage in the sort of mid-phase of the race, although he's gone a little bit wide there through turn 1. That will probably be incurring a warning. Yeah, indeed. It looks like DRS is going to be active then for the Williams behind. It looks like he's got some fantastic straight line speed. He's already on the back of that Aston Martin. Pulls to the inside instantly. That beautiful shot of them coming down, gleaming and glistening as down the inside. Easy overtake for T-Mouse against Polosvi, but Polosvi is going to have to fight against Matty D in the McLaren, who's going to go steaming from the inside to the outside then. As he's going to get DRS, both with DRS then. It's just down to T-Mouse to try and defend. Matty D is going to try and switch, but Polosvi is going to cover that one off. Matty D though down the inside is Polosvi going a little bit wide on those worn tyres. Although Polosvi is going to try fight it back as he's now going to have the inside line. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Matty D trying to hold it around the outside, but not quite the grip to do so around that corner. Good defending by Polosvi to keep that position, but looks like this battling has already created big as Matty D trying to go around the outside. I think he's made it stick already. That's a fantastic move. A place you really don't see an overtake around that penultimate corner, which is flat out.
in the midst of all that infighting there, Team Off seemed to try to make a nice distinguishable advantage, and they're going to have to try to make a comeback.
Matty D already inside the DRS though of Team House, so they could be at a bit of pressure later on. And actually, that's Cavolis in the pits already. Cavolis, the second driver on the mediums without damage to Blink. Berger, he's P13 at the moment, but he pitted very, very early, so he'll be trying the massive undercut on the guys in front. And look at how much Matty D is already close to Team House then. Quite early on in the stint, Team House would be pretty disappointed. He had a bit of a big advantage, but was unable to utilise it, and is now going to be under pressure from drivers behind. Whilst this is going on, looks like Mordstar is looking for a move on Lucifer Shaheed. Mordstar's found his pace, found his groove, as Carnage Achilles on his hard tyres is finding his pace yet again. A safety car could let him back into the running. Mordstar though very close to Lucifer Shaheed, and that is the leader. Showbit into the pit lane, 11 laps into this race then. And that is going to allow Owen to overtake and remain in the lead.
How long do you think he'll stay out there?
He might want to try something different, perhaps maybe wait for one of those safety cars. And let's see where Showbits does come out then. He's already dropped quite a few places. I think he should come out P9. It's going to be quite close. So he comes out quite a few seconds ahead of Berger. I think he's actually extended the gap a little to the Alpine driver. Team House trying to defend from Matty D then, who does have DRS and is looking very, very close. And I think that might be Carnage Achilles round again. Or perhaps it's Kayama's. Not too sure who it is, but we'll just take a look at who that Alfa Romeo was after we've been through this then. Team House, no DRS, no ERS to defend. Matty D also on under 10%. That's what the red flashing light is, and unable to make a pass. So that was Carnage Achilles, unfortunately, having yet another spin. Just going to head back to Lucifer Shaheed, who is now inside the DRS of Crew Streamers. Berger and Vintage, though, are going wheel to wheel. Berger with DRS assistance makes an easy overtake on the Mercedes driver then. And Owen into the pits to the next lap
no
then.
contact. Not much. Little love tap there between Monster and Lucifer Shaheed. No damage was done. He just rubbed up against the back tire a little bit. Maybe there was something done to the front wing of Monster and the Red Bull, because he's into the pits now.
Yeah, indeed. And look at this from Showbit, should I add, already back up into P2 then. Of course, a lot of other drivers deciding lap 12 was the lap to make it into the pit lane, as Vintage takes a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane then. So Owen is ahead, but Berger is a bit closer. Kumi-san takes a penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. And Owen being held up a little by F1 Nerd. Owen is going to get DRS now in the Aston Martin. Aston Martin versus Haas, a battle we have seen a little bit this year. Mick Schumacher bottling his first point scoring opportunity in Miami due to contact with Sebastian Vettel. That was quite a painful moment as well, as it looks like Spoof is actually being lapped.
For a brief moment, Crew Streamers had the #1 position on the track, and he looked like he had to sacrifice it to Shohobiz, who's got one lap on those hard tires and likes to feel as if he's got his hands on the throat of this race.
And look at this, I think Owen thought he made that move stick, but it looks like he went a little bit wide though. His superior grip has won out in the end, and he does indeed make that move stick on F1 Nerd. So he is up. He's actually, looks like he's jumped. No, he's still ahead of Pelosi, and Team House has been jumped by Matty D in the pit lane. Perhaps that overtake maybe happened a bit earlier on, as Crew Streamers and Lucifer Shaheed both into the pit lane as well. We'll see where this puts Mordstar out on the track, whether Mordstar will jump ahead of these guys or fall behind. It depends what his pace has been as a lap car moves out the way then of this battle for P4.
Shawhobe just got the fastest lap. So for speaking of pace, if the driver in the lead to have the fastest lap, that's pretty good pace, and he's trying to put his stamp on the race here. But both
So
of those I guess that one Austin Martin is it's a little bit too far behind right now. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
yeah, so Mordsar actually did jump Lucifer Shahid in the pit lane then. And Matty D is under big pressure from T-Mouse behind. T-Mouse is going to try and find the outside line. Oh, we can't get a good camera angle, unfortunately. But then Matty D is going to get the traction on the exit. But now looks like T-Mouse behind. We are going to finally get a good camera angle. And looks like T-Mouse down the inside, coming into the long sweeping left-hander. Good move by the Williams driver. But looks like Matty D is going to try and fight this one back. That outside line does become the inside if he can stick that wing in there. Unfortunately not able to do so. And that means T-Mouse is going to remain in, well, is going to take the position up into P4 for the Williams, and how he's going to try and have to pull a bit of a gap on the championship leader, Matty D. It looks like these two are very equal on pace. One gets past and then the other gets straight back past again. And look, Matty, not much of a gap being pulled by T-Mouse, and this is actually all allowing Rage Burger to get further and further up the road on 4-lap older tyres. If he can just hang on those tyres, this could have been a bit of a Burger masterclass when it came down to strategy then.
Well, Charles is quietly, slowly pulling away from the whole pack. He's up over 9 seconds over PLR Owen, and who's up 3 seconds over Burger. So they better get a move on it, or he's really going to take this race home.
Indeed, and Burger looked very close to T-Mouse there. Although T-Mouse is using a lot of ERS battling Matty D, Burger on about 55%, although that is not stopping the Williams and McLaren gaining a pure rate of knots against against Burger, who's almost fallen within the second barrier, although Matty D unable to do anything about T-Mouse this time around. T-Mouse is already in that safety net, almost in that safety net of a second, which should allow him to stay ahead of the current championship leader, although Matty D is all over the back of that Williams, and as he does go a little bit wide, although it looks like he's got just the perfect exit, of course. Well, actually no, Matty D almost thinks about a move, but a move into turn 1 is not the best idea, as it is quite narrow, and it's better to wait for the DRS further up, as DRS active now for T-Mouse when they do get back onto the straight, so he should be within a bit of a safety net then, and pretty happy with his position at the moment, as he's got the DRS. But can Matty D find just that little bit of extra straight line speed? This is now pretty much becoming a battle for the podium positions. As Burger not looking the most happy as he clips the sausage curb just a little bit then. Does T-Mouse have the speed to attack the Alpine coming in to the sweeping triple apex left-hander actually? So quite a very difficult corner to get right and not go too wide on. Burger taking a narrow line. T-Mouse going slightly wider. Look at this though, T-Mouse has gained through that corner. He's carried just a bit more speed through, although it's not quite enough to stick a wheel down the inside into the right-hander before entering the twistier parts of the third sector. But now these three creating quite the battle, as a mistake from T-Mouse or a missed opportunity for a move would allow Matty D just to go zooming through up into the podium positions, and I'm sure Matty D will be hoping for that. That's why he's hanging back just a little bit more than he usually would then. As we're going to go round.
One of the great things about everyone being so familiar with racing with each other is they race so hard, but they know each other's style and typically when to back off, when to push. And for all this hard racing, everyone is still on the grid. Beautifully done.
Indeed, now looks like T-Mouse is going to try and have another go at the Alpine. He looks a lot closer this time round. He's going to try and pull to the inside already. Burger, nothing to defend with. almost side by side. He's going to force Berger just a bit wide then, so this could allow a switch back to occur. Just enough space for a little switcheroo for Team House as he's going to try and go round the outside of Berger. Berger going to be using a lot of his energy then to try and defend as they're pretty much side by side. Berger's going to get the inside line, but steaming around the outside is Team House. Can he hold it? And now he's going to just about keep within track limits. Oh, a bit of contact. It looked like they're now the inside line for Team House. He's going to get that move done. Berger defenceless, and now is going to be under a bit of pressure from Matty D. Good move by Team House, especially in the face of a little bit of contact. That's not the first time Team House has had contact through that particular corner, as all Matty D going a bit wide, a bit slidey, as Kumi-san takes a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. And look at this on Matty D on Berger, already going into turn 1. Matty D ahead before the braking zone. So now Matty D again is free to attack Team House, this now for the podium rather than just position 4 in the race. So that's really heightened up this battle that these two are giving us, and giving us a fantastic bit of racing out of it then. Nobody else really too close.
No, and everyone's on the hard tires, so we don't expect anyone else to pit. We should be racing straight through this with 11 laps left in the race, and we have almost 11-second lead by Shohosbis. And follow as closely as you can by PLR Owen and Team House as he's been battling for the podium position so far this race.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, looks like Team House might be a little bit vulnerable here from Matty D. Only 3/10 the gap. Matty D going to be using that DRS to gain just a bit more time. He's not going to quite have enough straight line speed, though, to make a move, although Team House going a little bit wider. This is opened up. Matty D to try and go wheel to wheel with him. Matty D going to keep the inside line. Or, sorry, Team House keeping the inside line, and that's going to allow him to just keep that position, although Matty D almost looked like he was trying to stick a front wing end plate there into the corner and try and just get ahead of the Williams. But these Matty D desperate to get past and into the podium. That podium really going to help his championship efforts, of course. Currently leading, but Showbits, this is going to be 2 on the bounce, I believe. 2 dominant wins on the bounce as well, not just lucky wins, dominant wins, where he has controlled the entire race. We've got a yellow flag. That's someone round. I think that's Zippy round. We're just going to focus on this battle, though, as anything could happen, pretty much. As although, he's very stationary, though, is Zippy.
No, yeah, he was able to get out of there.
Has he got some damage? I think he might have a little bit of damage. That's why he was. I might have just been waiting for driving. No, he doesn't, as he's past the pit lane.
No,
just thinking, the way he was stood there, I thought he might have crashed out, which could have really, well, would have completely eliminated Showbits' lead that he has built up magnificently through some fantastic pace. So Matty D then, DRS active again, is going to try and have another run on Team House. Team House, where's he going to go? He's going to keep that line this time, not go too wide, although Matty D does get fantastic straight line speed just coming out of the corner. He carries brilliant speed, but it just isn't quite enough. He needs to just be a little closer. What's
actually spent out again. He had a nice little wheel-to-wheel action going there with Just Comey for just a minute, and it looks like then Just Comey spent out. Maybe I pronounced his name wrong. I apologize. Commentator Kurtz, possibly. A couple quick spins.
Matty D just is on quite equal pace with Team House, and that's making it incredibly difficult to get past, and is allowing Berger just to hang on to this train just a little bit longer. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we've only got 9 laps remaining of the race, though. So,
well, we've had some good racing back here between Carnage and Killers and Zippy ever since he spent out, and looks like they pass each other a little bit back and forth, and so all up and down the circuit, we're having some good racing. Great racing for the podium position, but great racing in the back here, trying to get into the points as well. And for our final points position, we've got Crew Steamers trying to chase down Lucifer.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Matty D is going to just be a bit too far back this time around. So we're going to head back down to Crew Streamers, who's under a little bit of pressure now from F1 Nerd after he was a bit unsuccessful in trying that overtaking. Now look at how close F1 Nerd is. He made actually a little bit of contact with Crew Streamers, as it looks like F1 Nerd is going to try go steaming round the outside of the Alpine driver. Does he have the grip to do so? They're going to be going wheel to wheel. Looks like good move by F1 Nerd around the outside. He's now in contention for that points position. Crew Streamers has got a bit of work to do to get back into contention for the points.
Yeah, he started off pretty solid, but since then he's had a couple of problems. And in this particular tier here, if you make a mistake, you know, any given driver can get up on there and take advantage of it.
Yeah, indeed. And now we're gonna keep an eye on the gap between Matty D. If it sort of drops within the 3/10 zone, we're gonna switch back to those guys, because that is when the Matty D can strike. He doesn't look like he's gaining too much though, coming down the back straight. Oh, he's very close, but we're going to take a look back at this, as now Lucifer Shaheed under a little bit of pressure then. Not too much so far from F1 Nerd, but he's gaining with that DRS. He's going to be trying to use that second straight as his point of overtaking. Lucifer 50%, 20%. He's already looking like he's going to try and go alongside, but unable to find it. ERS burning through it. Well, actually he's not. He's going to decide to use a little bit less, as F1 Nerd couldn't quite have the speed to find a gap. And looks like a great run through that corner for Lucifer Shaheed. He's going to keep his position at the moment in P10. This last fight for the points is looking quite spicy. What is also looking quite exciting is T Mouse and Matty D. Now 3/10 separates them as they head into turn 1. They've now file through turn 2 and 3, only 3/10 separating them. This is the closest Matty D has been so far, coming into the hairpin now. Matty D almost looked like he was going for a move. He went a little wide though. Will that aid his exit? Look at that. T-Mouse knows Matty is coming behind him, although it looks like T-Mouse got a far better exit coming off the hairpin, also known as turn 4. Matty D though 3/10 through the chicane. He's just got to hold it together. Just the way that T-Mouse takes these corners just is aiding his defence. He's getting far better exits through turn 4 and through the exit of the chicane, which is really helping him just stay ahead of Matty D.
That's Lucifer for the final points position.
Indeed he did. He just missed that. Matty D, although look at this though. Lucifer Shaheed fighting back against the Haas driver. He's going to go steaming around the outside before, well, they've even reached the braking zone. So good move to let Lucifer Shaheed back through. He's got about 10% more battery than the Haas driver. So he can definitely use that to his advantage. Crew Streamers in the back just hanging on. And
Pulaski with a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, indeed. Only a few drivers with penalties. We're actually just going to take a quick look at what penalties people have got then. So it's 3 seconds for Berger, 3 seconds for Pololski, and 3 seconds for Mordstar as well. 5 seconds for Vinted and 16 seconds for Kumisan, who is certainly not having the greatest of races. Look at this down the inside at turn 2 is a move tried out by F1 Nerd. He's going to push all the way to the inside the Williams, who is going to be unable to defend that. That was a opportunistic and fantastic little overtake. But now this has really opened up Crew Streamers to try and attack. Kumisan takes another 3-second penalty, boosting up to over 19 seconds of penalties. He's got quite a lot.
It's starting to add up in some costly positions, because F1 Nerd is only 4 seconds. Well, basically he's about a second behind Monstar right now. If you want to tabulate the penalties, about a second and a half, really.
Indeed, but
This one,
Mordstar in the DRS of Kavolis is Kumisan deciding to retire in the pit lane, and Lucifer Shahid is going to try and re-overtake F1 Nerd. He's going to try and find the outside, but well defended by the Hassas. All contact and round. F1 Nerd round. That will certainly be looked at by the stewards, I'm sure. So that pretty much puts F1 Nerd out of the running, as Kayamas now also takes a 3-second penalty for exceeding track limits. So now, wow, that's really changed the fight for the points positions. Post-race might have a thing or two to say about that. But yeah, look at this. Kavolis and Mordstar look very, very close together.
And it's amazing. The top 4 drivers still without penalties, as Matty D is trying to chase down T-Mouse with just under 0.3 of a second.
Look how close Matty is now. He's got a better exit than he had last time. But can T-Mouse defend all the way down? I don't think he will. Matty D is going to try down the inside. He's already ahead before they get to the corner, although T-Mouse is going to try and be late on the brakes. Matty D closes him out, closes the door on him, and that's going to allow the McLaren through.
Oh, there's contact between Berger and Kimmy for 6.
Well, indeed there is, but it looks like T-Mouse has got a slightly poorer exit and is going to be unable to attack coming down the straight, although he's going to try go for a move down the inside. Contact. He's round!
There's contact between Matty D and T-Mouse.
That was a very opportunistic move from T-Mouse, from what it looked like, as Mordstar is going to be passed by Kavolis. Those two are battling it out. Mordstar's going to try and hang it. He's got the outside now. That becomes the inside. Good move by Mordstar up into P8. So yeah, T-Mouse round pretty much, it looked like, by his own accord there, which is not great for his race. He'll be really kicking himself at that one. But now Pololski is going to be really attacking Berger then, as we're in the final few laps. Matty D pretty much got that podium wrapped up then. Owen very far behind Showbits, who has just pretty much been in a class of his own at the front today.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, looking at
Cruz Steamers be able to get into the points. He's chasing down Shahid with less than a second under him. And with 4 laps left, that seems to be the closest battle. That's gonna significantly I guess we got Pulaski and Berger. And Berger is being passed right now as we speak by Pulaski.
Indeed, Pulaski, very nice. Easy move for him, as Kayama is also trying to get a move. He's going to try and sneak down the inside. He's going to get the DRS, but so too is Berger. So these two pretty much just have ERS to play with. Look at how much more Kayama's has. That's an easy overtake for him. I'm not sure what's going on with the AlphaTauri of Just Kumi. He retired in the pit lane. It looks like Cruzstream has passed Lucifer Shahid. In fact, before the braking zone, Cruzstream is up into P10. He's got to find quite a bit of time if he wants to get close to Mordstar, who at the moment is P9, unless he can find a further 2 seconds from... He's got to find an extra 2 seconds in the final few laps of the race, as we are in that last phase. Pololski almost pulled a gap on Kayama's. Berger dropping back on those harder tyres. F1 Nerd now takes that 3-second penalty.
Ooh, that hurts.
Indeed, especially after his incident, then it will be hurting him quite a lot. And who's that round? I think that's Carnage Achilles round. Just coming on the exit of the corner. He has spun around. Pololski now is going to be defending from the Alfa Romeo behind Aston Martin versus Alfa Romeo. Who's going to come out on top? Kayama's looks like he's got a lot more pace at the moment. It's down the inside he goes already. He's already passed and covers off the switchback, although Pololski now will get the DRS, I believe. Yes, he will. Now he's going to be fighting back. Kayama's was a bit too eager to make that overtake, and round the outside is going to go Pololski. We're not going to quite see that overtake, but going wide though, this is going to allow Pololski to come back through, as Kayama's car is sparking, although he's going to get the inside line. Looks like he almost cut that corner a little bit to get that overtake done. Maybe perhaps that will be looked at by the stewards a little bit, as I think Kavolis is round. Kavolis has had a spin, and Lucifer Shahid also spinning out.
Oh.
Not sure. He's just waiting out on the track. He's going to get going yet again, so that's pretty much dropping Lucifer out of any running for points, and that's going to allow Mordstar to pretty much secure his position at the moment. Carnage Achilles, I think Carnage Achilles was in the pits. Yeah, he's pitted softs and is going to be going to end the race. Ooh, Showbits, did perhaps he have a spin? As that gap's now only 6 seconds.
And this is all allowing T-Mouse to get up there significantly as he's trying to chase down Pulaski, who also has a 3-second penalty. So T-Mouse, who was fighting for second and third place for a while there, is still trying to get back in the top 5 if he can with 2 laps left.
And Matty D is actually attacking Owen then. So Matty has made some fantastic gains. As look at this, Matty D is going to try and go around the outside. He almost tried to think of it, but didn't quite have the grip to do so. He's going to try and find his way back around the outside again. But Owen just blocking it off just enough to maintain that position. Matty D really enjoying the outside today. It looks like T-Mouse can actually afford to sit back. And he will overtake these guys based on penalties. As we are on the penultimate lap of the race then. Matty D, this is for position of course, as no penalties for either driver. So very, very important little battle for position 2. This can be really, really important to minimise the losses of Matty D against Showbiz, who has just had some brilliant pace in that AlphaTauri today.
They're slowly starting to pull Showbiz in as well. Like you said, he may have spent, and he doesn't have the greatest pace right now as well. So with a lap and a half left, anything can happen.
Yeah, indeed, especially if he's already had a little spin on those tyres, he could be susceptible to that again, and that might allow possibly a battle for the lead between Matty D and Owen for the championship fight. Might spin on its head yet again in the favour of Matty D. Matty, though, couldn't quite make a move on Owen. Perhaps he's saving it all up for the final lap. Both very equal on ERS, so Matty again trying to go from the outside to the inside, unable to quite find the space to do so. Owen defending like a lion, and look at this, Pelosi and Kayama's wheel to wheel at the moment. As look at this, on the scene coming is T-Mouse, perhaps a little bit of contact there, as it almost looked like Pelosi went wider than he would have done on his own, as I think that's someone else round at the hairpin. And yeah, now as Matty D's dropped off quite a bit on the final lap of the race then compared to Owen. So Owen looks like he might have just done enough. Of course, Carnage Achilles taking that point for fastest lap, and wow, Pelosi going a bit wide in the battle to take P5 in this race. Lucifer Shahid takes
10-second penalty to Lucifer Shahid.
Cutting the corner apparently for the Williams driver, but now this is the battle. This is pretty much the closest on track now, as will Pelosi have the speed to overtake Kai Armours? I'm not sure he will, as he's under pressure from the Williams behind. I think it's pretty much going to stay in this order. Of course, T-Mouse is going to be jumping Kai Armours and Pelosi in the race, of course, as both have 3-second penalties. T-Mouse has kept it clean and does not. So he'll jump position. Look at this, Mordstar making a move on Berger for P7. He's made that stick then. Has the Red Bull driver, both of these guys on penalties as well. So that is for P7 in the session then. So looks like Showbits is going to come round. He's going to do donuts across the line and wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Look at this on the line. Owen just holding out, but against Matty D. And then Kai Armours finishing P5, Pelosi P6, T-Mouse P4.
Okay.
That's Carnage Achilles, who did not have the greatest of races round. So then, your provisional podium then is Showbits, Owen and Matty D. A great performance from all those drivers, particularly Showbits, a brilliant dominating performance again. His pace did very much drop off. I think he might have had a bit of a spin, and of course his Max Verstappen-esque celebration. Berger saying he had 82% wear on his tyres. So being able to hold on to P8, brilliant job. And yeah, Matty D and Team Mouse, brilliant recovery from him after spinning to make it back up to P4. Brilliant stuff from the Williams driver. So,
Yeah,
driver of the day for you then, Artistic. Who are you going to pick?
let's see here. I guess the way the game would have it set up, it would go to T-Mouse, but I got to go with Sean Biss because, I mean, anytime he was never really challenged. Towards the end, we even missed the spin because, we couldn't talk about him much because he's out there, in a league of his own. It went to T-Mouse, who did some really great racing, but I've got to give it to the race winner and Sean. It was great, fantastic race from top to bottom. How about yourself?
For me, it's quite a hard one. I think I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna have to give it to T Mouse. I think he worked his way up the grid nicely, and he had a spin and still was able to make it back up to P4. So brilliant job from him overall. So I think we got some post-race interviews to conduct.
Yeah, can I rectify my pick? I think you sold me, and he was on the cusp of it for me anyway. And your argument swayed me as well as your commentary. You're absolutely professional, great sir. And these drivers, each and every one of them, are fantastic. You're gonna go down the line before it runs out on us. I'll get out of the way.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you very much there, and great comms from you as well, Artistic. So we're just going to wait for these guys to join the party. We are going to give them a quick invite, and then...
So we got Shohobis, PLR Owen, Matty D, T-Mouse, Gamers, Pulaski, Monstar, Rage Burger, Crew Steamers, Cabalist, F1 Nerd, Vintage, Kevo XP, Lucifer Shahid, Carnage Achilles Spoof, and Just Tommy to round out our grid for the day.
Indeed. So let's try and get these guys in.
With the fastest lap going to Carnage Achilles.
Can you see if you can invite the guys to the interviews, Artistic?
Okay.
So yeah, fantastic race then does come to an end. Just gonna wait for some of these guys to get in for it.
Yeah. What? How do I not see Owen in here?
Well, hello, boys.
Hello. Great racer.
Yeah, indeed, great race from you today, Matty D. What happened with we saw some contact with Team House there. What happened with that?
Oh, so I was obviously trying to go for a move on the outside and he just ran it a bit too deep.
It did look a little bit like that, but again, fantastic performance to make it up to P3, so close to getting that overtake on Owen at the end. Overall, how did you feel the race was with the tyres and the difficulty of the track?
I felt a lot comfortable on the hard compound tyres. The mediums were a bit slippery going through turn 2 and 3, for sure.
Yeah, we saw quite a few people spin out in the early parts. I believe you had a spin in the final sector in the earlier parts of the race, if I remember.
Yeah, I did. I just lost control of the car. I hit the curb a bit too much and then I just spun. Luckily, I didn't get no damage. I was lucky to get my car back up and going and fight my way through the field again.
Yeah, indeed, it was a fantastic drive from you to get back into that podiums and not lose too many points as Showbits then took another dominant win. Unfortunately, he's not here
Yeah,
for the
you've got to.
interviews.
I'm looking for him now, and I just sent an invite out to Owen, so I'm trying to. I don't. It doesn't look like I've got Joe's added here that I can see.
So we might just have to
Maddie,
wait.
it looks like you've got a pretty firm hand in the championship, huh? What do you think? What's going to be your best race to wrap it up?
It's going to be close for sure between me and Simster, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, if I win this next race, I am hopefully securing the championship win.
Yeah, well, you've what is that going to be? If you do win, is that 2 seasons in a row? You won Tier 3 last year, didn't you?
No, I got demoted from Tier 2, so this is my first season in Tier 3.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, you're definitely letting it be known that hey, you want another shot back up there in the higher grade. But as you know, even as we've expanded, tier 2 is 3 or whatnot. I mean, three was 2. It's just so many drivers, so many great drivers all throughout the grid that who's to say where it was last year compared to this year, because even this year's quali, Tier 3 was right there with Tier 2. It's just been some fantastic racing. And I would have to say this has probably been the best race of the week so far that I personally viewed. The most entertaining, action-packed, from top to bottom.
So
A
indeed
lot of
then,
battles out there for sure.
quite a lot up and down the order. So then, I think Owen's going to be unable to join us, so unless you have anything more to add, Artistic.
Oh, no, sir. And but I want to thank you, Matty D, for the excellent driving you've been doing all throughout the season, as well as this race. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you fare in the rest of the championship. And I'm sure you're going to give it your best shot, and they're going to have to bring their A games to beat you.
Yeah, thank you, boys.
Thank you very much for joining us into the interview. So, if you guys are still here, thank you very much for watching the stream today. It's been a great race, and I hope to see you guys next time out for round 11.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for viewing.